Time to review teaching with the Surface Pro. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Talk and Chalk. My name is Beck. I'm an assistant principal in Southwest Sydney, and these are just my videos with tips and advice on different things that I either do in the classroom or ways that I teach or experiences that I have. I generally do this pretty unedited. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing teaching using the Microsoft Surface Pro. So normally I video using this device, which is why I'm using the camera tonight. So I'm just going to take you through generally how I use it, day-to-day basis. I have not been paid or received anything for this. This is just something that we've been using at the school that I'm at. So I thought it might be good to give you guys just a bit of a rundown on how it's worked for me on a day-to-day basis in the classroom and using it for programming. So I'm going to switch my camera around so I can set it up and show you how I use the Surface Pro. So I'll just flip that now. Okay, so as you can see, it's really slimline. This is what I really find useful about this. I can carry this anywhere. I can walk around the classroom, walk around the school. The stylus slots right on the side there, which is really easy. And when I open it up, I just pop it on there on the side because it's magnetic. Fold it open, and I've got the little, tab at the back there that I can open it up. And you can stretch this out to like that if in case I want to write on the surface there, which is really good. So generally though, I pop it open like that, keyboard there, and this sits easy on my lap as well, and the on button's just at the top here. So if I put that on, it's really quick to load as well. You'll see it'll come up pretty fast. You can choose to have a password log on or not. I've obviously not because this is a school device. So I don't generally have personal stuff on there. This is all school stuff that's on there. Now I've got on here all my files from this year and all my files from, I'm just going to look in there and see, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013. All on here. It's a bit hard for you to see there. And if I go to see how much space I've used up 102 gig, and I've got out of 236 gig, which means I've still got tons of space in there. And if I go to my camera roll, because I've been videoing all of my Clever Pickles and Talk and Chalk videos on here, except for a few others, all my videos are on here. Like tons and tons of videos and photos and school photos and videos of my kids in the class are all on here, and I still have not used up all of the space on this device. So I think that's heaps and heaps of space that's on there. So like any other school device, you can only have access obviously to the programs that your school wants you to have access to, but generally I just go straight into the internet. And at the moment I'm using my Wi-Fi at home, but it's set up so that will just connect to the school Wi-Fi when I get to school. And I've set up all my tabs across the top here, no issues with any of that stuff. And it's got all of the same sort of memory functions that you would have on other computers. So it remembers the portal and the fact that I've gone to YouTube and Google Classroom and Facebook and the Literacy Continuum and all those sorts of things on there as well that I've got saved. Now I use a Google phone. I use a Pixel phone, so all the photos that I'm taking on there automatically hooked up here. I can go into my files if I want to. I can go into photos and I can see the photos that I've been taking today, that's me and the kids mucking around there. So that automatically connects without an issue. Same with all the programs. I've got Word, I've got a PowerPoint and OneNote and Excel and Outlook and all of those things there too. And you've got access to Acrobat, all those sorts of things. We are using OneNote as a school. So we're doing collaborative planning on there using OneNote. Now, because I'm on the executive team, I have a bit more access than staff to seeing different things. So I've got access to the Stage 1 program, our Early Action for Success notebook, which is run by our instructional leaders, our executive notebook, and also RFF and support programs because that's what I supervise. Now, I'll do something more in depth another time about OneNote and how wonderful it is to use. But what I'm going to do is go to my tab, because at the moment I can see all the teachers across the top here that I supervise. I can go in and see their programs at any time. I can go into collaboration. If I go to term 3, this is where we collaborate all together there. So I mean, mathematics at the moment, this is weeks 9 and 10 mathematics that was put together by my lovely team partner, and I can go in there and use it. And if I do one for whatever week or subject or whatever, it's in there as well that we can use it for. Our lovely teacher librarian relieving AP has put together the digital technologies program, so that is all there for me to see. I know exactly what's happening from week to week, and I can go in and write on that, or I can copy it to my own personal program. So I'm just going to go to my personal program there to show you some of the functions of the Surface Pro that I really love. And I'm just going to go to my PDP notes and go to some of my L3 trainings. So you can see when I go to L3 training, this is where I'm making notes. I often take photos of the training session. I'm just going to move that a bit closer. So this is where I can type and highlight things. So I just get the stylus out and I can go to draw, and I'll give you an example. There's a blue highlighter just there. And if I click on the back here, I can rub it out too if I want to. So you can see where I've highlighted and where I've switched to the pen and written notes on there. And I can zoom in and out if I want to see something. Move it around if I want. So this was a photo that I took of the screen just to get some notes. And then I used my highlighter to sort of circle around key points there. Again, I used my pen to underline points there that you can see. And, you know, took notes along with it as well. So that format might change from time to time. But one of the other functions that I really loved, I'm just going to search through, was when I linked a YouTube video. It actually came up with a little icon that was on there. Was it this one? No, I'm just going to go through. I just want you to see how it came up. So this was a day we did some group work. So I took photos of the group work that we did to put in. This was the day that I forgot my charger, unfortunately, and had to take, oh my gosh, handwritten notes. Who would have thought it? And, oh my gosh, there we go. So when I linked a YouTube video, I literally went to the URL bar and I copied and pasted it in here, and it came up with the thumbnail. This is what I like, because now I can play it in OneNote. I don't actually have to go and open up YouTube and do it that way and try and type it in and find the link or anything. It's right there saved. So those are some of the benefits for that. A great way that I used it with my students was when we were doing some writing. And what I think I might do is I'm going to switch the camera so I can get a closer view for you. Okay, I'm just going to go into my folder for Dungeons & Dragons D&D. So when we were writing our stories, I'm just going to try and find it. So here was Lucinda's story, and then I've got editing suggestions. So the kids wrote their stories together, it's a bit hard to see with the purple, on paper, and then they had to type it up together, and then I went through and gave them suggestions. I gave them notes on here. So when they've put here the town, I've written what town. The town is in trouble and one superhero, or I've put, is she a superhero or a wizard? Because in their initial planning, they told me that she was a wizard. Had to save the town from a killer. What killer? So I put all of these notes in here, and then I can print it like this. So it doesn't move around like when you're on the interactive whiteboard and you copied and pasted something in, then you try to write over it. It doesn't always stay the same. This stays like this. So I was able to print it like this in color so they could see the notes, and then they could take that away and go back to the computer together and either retype or they could rewrite it on top of the paper that I printed for them. So here's another one with the editing suggestions. This was Serpenthelm's story. And again, I did this in orange, so you can't really see it there. So I've got here a dragon. I've written, describe the dragon. What does it look like? What does it sound like? So these are some of my notes that I then fed back to the group, and then they went away to edit and continue on with their story. And then after they came back with all their notes, we sat down together and we actually sat around the Surface Pro and finalized their story into this. So we sat together and looked at all the editing that they did, and we talked about how they wanted the story to look when it was up in the classroom. So what pictures did they want to have that went with their story, and how did they want it laid out? So they got to pick the font and the size, and the pictures and the background and how it worked out. So that was how one story ended up. And if I find Serpenthelm's, this is what Serpenthelm ended up with, something a bit different looking. And then we had Laura Deanne's story. This is her background story. A different colour, different font, a different look, because it all came from the group. And the talking that came about when the kids got to sit around the Surface Pro with me, because it's so light and easy, we could just sit on the lounge and write with it, or we could sit at a table. We could move anywhere that that group was. And if, you know, there's a student who's really reluctant or might be have some issues in the classroom, whether it's behavior or academic or whatever, I can literally just go and sit down with them and put this up. And I tell you what, as soon as you go to Google and start looking up pictures of dragons like this, they definitely start engaging. And being able to have this anywhere in the classroom and look up anything is definitely engaging. I'll be able to go to YouTube, pull up a video of, you know, anything that they might be keen on looking at, or that might be related to a text that we're working on. Just makes that so much easier. But absolutely having the ability to just write on the screen like that is awesome. So, I mean, if you go in, I can show you now, draw all the different aspects that you've got here. Whoops. Like all the different colors and everything that you can use if you want to. So, oh, yellow is not a good color, is it, for a screen? I've already established that. Maybe I'll just go with green, see if that makes a difference. I've got that there, you know, I can write all over it. And like I said before, you can fold it down. And if your wrist touches the screen, it doesn't matter. It will still write. See, I'm doing it now. My wrist is touching the screen. I'm actually moving it and I'm still writing. So that seriously is an amazing function to have, especially when you've got kids around who might want to try and touch the screen while you're doing it. It doesn't affect it. I love the fact that I can zoom in and out, because when I'm reading lots of stuff, I find that, you know, my eyes might get a bit tired. Like if I go into Laura Deanne's story, I'll go back into it. You know, that purple and the black is a bit harsh on the eyes, especially when it's that small. I can bring it right up and read through it if I want to. And I can go across and move it up and down, and it doesn't affect the text. So you notice that when I touch it, it's not actually clicking on the text yet. It has the good sensors on there not to do that. I don't have the technical vocab to really explain how or why, but I do know that from an everyday standpoint, that's fantastic. And that's what I want. And I'm going to click don't save on that one. You have access to all sorts of apps and things. So, I mean, I downloaded Video Editor on there, and obviously this comes down to school as well. You've got the search function on there, which is really handy. I mean, if I type in Photo Editor, there we go, one comes up there. Oh, and I can't spell editor. That's lovely. So that's one that's on there. It searched for it, found it for me. It's got all my photo suggestions on there. But I mean, if I go back to that and type Photo Editor again. Oops, sorry. I'm looking for suggestions on there. So Photo Editor. And it says Photo Editor, see web results. I can go straight to the web and look at it that way. And you've got Explorer on there as well as Chrome. I just personally prefer Chrome. Okay, the other function on here that I really, really love is using the Bluetooth. And I'm just going to go into the device settings here so you can see. On here we've got the different, sorry, I'm losing focus there, devices and things that you can use. And this one here is one that's at school. So I can display this to the Promethean board that's in our library, which means that this, anything, whatever's displayed on my screen, I can display up on the big Promethean board, which is great because if I want to do handwriting, my interactive whiteboard at the moment is just a bit old and not calibrating very much. So I can do handwriting on here. They can see what I'm doing with the stylus pen and how I'm holding it. I can hold it up and say, look at how I'm holding it. Look what I'm doing on my Surface Pro. And then they can still see what's going up onto the screen. So it's also very handy if you've got maybe something that you've saved that you can't access on the computer at school. So the kids don't necessarily have access to YouTube and things like that. So it makes it easy to be able to just run something off your own system and put it up that way. Okay. The good thing about this, or another good thing I should say about this, is just being able to turn it into that tablet. So that pops off It's very safe. It clicks itself back on. It's got a magnetic system there, and it will ask me if I want to switch to tablet mode. So when I pull it off, I'm going to say, yes, I want to go to tablet mode. Whoops. Which it will do. And then you can see like all the apps and devices and things, and I can go to the different formats here on the side. I can see it in a different way and go through the systems like that. So this, I can easily carry this around in the classroom if I want to take it off and just move around and use all the functions that way. And then when I want to pop it back on, it just sits back on, and it will usually ask me if I want to come back out of, do you want to exit tablet mode? Yes, I do. And it will switch back to that sort of PC mode that you've got on there. And I like the fact that this is really lightweight. I don't know if you can see it, but the keyboard lights up. So you know when it's on, you know when it's working. And if you want to switch it to the sleep settings, it's really quick. It goes straight away pretty much. It's done there. If I want to come back to it, I just move the mouse and there I go. Too easy. Okay, so you can see, obviously, I think that you realize that I like using this device. It was very different to use it. These are not personal devices. Like I said, the school decided that they would run with this initiative that all classroom teachers would use these, and that we would program using the OneNote system so that we could work collaboratively. And that's been an ongoing process. And like I said, I'll do a different video on using OneNote because there's just so many benefits and there's just so many ways that you could use it, and I wouldn't be able to fit it into this video. So I'll do that another time. But for today, I think the Surface Pro is a great device. I think if you can get your hands on one or get to a professional development session where you could learn the benefits of using it, it's an amazing device to have in the classroom. I'm very, very grateful that we've been supplied with these in the classroom, and I definitely will keep using one. If the time ever comes where the school stops using them, or if I change schools or anything like that, I will definitely be going out and buying one for myself to use and using that in the classroom and at home. Hands down, I can't fault it. I haven't had anything on there that I think has been a problem. I haven't had amazing glitches or anything like that. Anything that I have had that's been an issue has usually been with regards to connecting to systems or restricted modes from being connected to department systems. So if you want to try one out, I recommend going and finding out more information about it and how it would suit you. Seriously, I'm so glad that I have it. So hopefully this has given you a bit of information about it and shown you different ways that you could use it. If you've got any questions about how other ways that I use it, just pop it in the comments below, send me a message. Check out all the links below in the description so you can find me on Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest. And if you can't see it below because you're watching it in a different form of media, you just need to open it up into YouTube to be able to see those descriptions below. My next video that I'm going to be doing is feeding back on you guys about the suggestions you all sent me in about having a good work-life balance. So I'm looking forward to making that video at the end of this week. It's only a few days left of school term here, so the countdown's on. It's a bit exciting, so I'm looking forward to doing that video for you guys. But if you haven't yet, subscription by clicking, you can subscribe by clicking on the button below, and I'll chuck in one of my other links to the videos at the top there in case you haven't seen them. But thanks for coming back, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.